Hello, I'm Joel Koblenz, and welcome to Privileged Conversations, a series of discussions with leaders. Today, our visit is with Gary Stokan. Gary is the CEO of the Chick-Fil-A Bowl. It's the most successful bowl of its kind. He also is one of the global leaders in putting on events. So we thought it would be interesting for our audience to hear from a different leader, a different type of leader, a very passionate leader. Gary, welcome. Gary, share with us your view of leadership and how you came to that point of view.
I think people live in comfort zones. And my job as a leader is to get them out of that comfort zone and challenge them. I love challenges personally, and I think people react well to challenges, especially over time. And so as a leader, as a coach, which I look at myself as a coach, that's my job. Take them out of their comfort zone, challenge them, cross-train them, because especially young people now, they want that challenge. They want what's the next opportunity. We're in such an immediate gratification society that's important in business to always challenge, particularly your young people, with the mentality they have. And so that's how I look at leadership.
One of the biggest challenges that we've observed in leadership is when you have a leader who has been in place for quite a long time and has built extensive reputation at delivering value to all the stakeholders of whatever the position is. And Gary, you've been in this role for quite a long time. You've had great success. You're one of the leaders in the event business in the United States, perhaps the world. How is it that you plan for your own succession, developing your own people?
Thank you for that question. It's a challenge because I love what I do. I've been in this 34 years, and you reach a point, as you have in your industry, of it hands down. And I say that humbly, but when you're around something that long and been in it that long, you've seen a lot of things. And I really enjoy. I'm passionate about what I do. And so it's hard personally to give up some of those things. But you have to look beyond yourself, and that's a part of leadership. Servant leadership is something I aspire to. I'm not there yet. I'm working at it daily. But
none of us are.
It's hard. It's a challenge. And so if you're going to take upon servant leadership, the first thought is, how can I delegate? And how can I delegate by mentoring? How can I delegate by making sure there's success, continued success? Because ultimately, I have to replace myself. I'm not going to be around forever. And the other thing is, it keeps continuity. And in leadership, continuity is so important to a team's success.
Well, one would say, with the team that you've built, obviously strong and obviously been together for a long time and obviously successful. Someone listening to the conversation would say, well, if they've been together so long, they probably can finish each other's sentences. How do you press innovation when you've all been together so long and probably can finish each other's sentences?
That's where my job as the leader, ultimately, is to create that vision and push us out of that comfort zone. So, in other words, if people are finishing my sentence, okay, I want to change direction. All under a strategic value, but okay, let's think about doing kickoff games. Let's think about now doing 2 kickoff games. Well, all of a sudden, that changes things up. And change is good. Change is positive. Change is going to happen whether we want to or not. And so you have to, as a leader, you have to change it in a direction that meets the vision of where you want to go. And so, in other words, starting the kickoff game 4 years ago, 5 years ago, getting the College Football Hall of Fame 2 years ago, those were all part of the vision that
I think
we
you have the Dodd Award as well.
And now we're adding the Bobby Dodd Coach of the Year Award. We sponsored it, and now we're creating an alliance where we'll be running it. And so all that is under the vision of maintaining Atlanta as the college football capital of the world, but these are brand extensions off of that vision. And so you have to challenge people to get out of their comfort zone to make those things happen. And it takes a team to do that.
Now, you've stretched your team, and you have a fairly active board, from what I understand. And how is it that you communicate these kinds of new concepts, extensions of, so that the board is prepared and understands the strategy that you're pursuing?
Yeah, it's a big challenge. You have to manage your board.
How do you do that?
It is a challenge. I mean, obviously, board members like yourself, great value to a CEO in my case, because you have experiences out there. You can think of things similar to the experience that I bring to the table, but bring it up in a different way. a different way of looking at things, a different way of thinking. Obviously, as the CEO, you've got to remain somewhat focused to the goals, but you're challenged by board members. So, in other words, I challenge my team members to get out of that comfort zone. My board members challenge me and make me think and make me ponder and make me question, you know, whether we're doing things the right way or whether this extension meets the vision that we need to have. Or, hey, here's another extension, Gary, that maybe you haven't thought about that we ought to look at. And the great thing about a board in my case is they're not only willing to create that, help create that, but they're willing to make it happen. A lot of board members will come in and say, hey, let's do this. But similar to a consultant, they leave the idea sitting there. We've got a great team board that really gets behind it, whether it becomes a sponsor, whether it becomes getting volunteers, whether it becomes creating business relationships that help that extension, that brand extension. So there's a way of managing that and cultivating a board to think in those terms. I challenge the board challenges me. That's all good because change is important. Or another feeling I have or a statement I have is if you stagnate, you die. You cannot stagnate. You're either getting better, you're getting worse. If you stand still, you're getting worse. And you've got to get better and you've got to improve.
The old Woody Hayes comment, isn't it?
That's right. That's
you get
exactly
better, you get worse every day.
That's exactly right.
The same. Gary, thanks very much.
Enjoyed it, Joel. Thanks for having me.
A pleasure.
Thank you.